Okay, thank you for coming in to see the second video, the demo of putting that case we just talked about in part one into eRAPIDS and kind of showing you how it would look like. So I'm going to approach this as if I got SLA1 and I'm processing it. I'm going to process it first as I go through, just as if I was just going to look at Magi. Okay. So I've already started the case here, already did a request for assistance. So I'm now actually in application entry driver flow. So we got Kelly Anderson as the primary person, that is mom. So here we go. We're going to go through the driver flow. And they didn't ask for backdate or anything. I'm trying to keep it a little bit simple. So we're going to start with September and our session control date. Put our verifications in here. We got the application to tell us that. Okay, she is a previous West Virginia resident. Okay, so we got Kelly Anderson as the primary person. Say we got all our proper verifications. Okay, remember she's just applying for the kids, so I'm going to work about citizenship and identity for them. Now, be careful, don't just hit next here. Remember, there's 3 other people in this household, so I want to hit new information. So let's go ahead and list our husband. We got Roger Anderson. Okay, get a social security number in there. And his birth date, 1980. And there we go. Now I can scroll down and I can click on the add new information, or I can use the shortcut key and just hit F9. That'll give me a new screen. Okay, so the next one would be Zach, and his last name is different. Okay, he's from a previous relationship. Okay, so let's get his social security number. We verified it. And his birth date. Well, remember, he's 8 years old. And now we gotta add in his sister. We get Jill, and Jill is an Anderson. That is the common child. And she is only 3 years old. So now I can hit next. And it's going to take me back through. Let me double check, make sure I got who I want. Okay. So I want to create new individual. Don't have no clearance matches. That's always good. Okay, we're not going to evaluate for what she works or anything like that. We want to focus on the Medicaid. So now remember, they're only requesting medical for the kids. So we're going to say no to them, to the parents. And I'm going to leave the AFDC-related alone right now because I want to show you what you're going to look for. Okay? We don't want this backdated. They are cooperating. Nobody outside the household is claiming them. And they said, yeah, go ahead and use it for 5 years. Now, since this is, I'm pretending that I'm just looking at Magi right now. I'm going to use S. Now, that'll change here in a little bit. But right now, we're going to look at S for the streamlined application. Go ahead and say no to SNAP. Okay, so we got to get these relationships correct so everything counts right. So Kelly is the spouse of Roger, and Kelly is mother for both children. Okay. Roger is a spouse of Kelly, is the stepfather of Zach, and is the father of Jill. Okay. So Zach is the son of Kelly, stepson to Roger, and half brother to Jill. You need to make sure you get that coded correctly. And then, of course, Jill's coded itself because we coded everything above it correctly. Okay, so I'm going to change this and say we use agency form to verify, set all. And then I want to click accept. And then I'm going to hit next. Now we got to make sure we get this right. So Kelly and Roger file jointly. Okay. Kelly is claiming Zach and is claiming Jill. Same thing with Roger. He's claiming both kids. Okay. Zach is a dependent but not of his sister Jill. And Jill is a dependent of but not of her brother Zach. Okay. Set all. Accept. Hit next. Okay. So yeah, they are a citizen. We got an agency form. Yeah. Identity declaration. We got the agency form to verify it. Marital status. They are married. Intent to reside. Yes. Okay. Remember, I'm not focused on citizenship and identity for the parents, just the kids. Okay. Okay. Married. Yes, to intent to reside. There we go. Okay. Now, this is where I got to make sure I get everything coded correctly. We're going to assume we have proper verifications. And shoot, my daughter had a school ID at age 5, so why can't they? Well, at least Zach might be able to. And make sure you don't accidentally code a kid as married. Make sure you code him as single. You can have issues if you code him as married because they don't see him as emancipated. Intent to reside, yes. And see, there we go. Since I coded it correctly above, it brought it down to below. Oops. Let's make that, whoops, not baptismal. There we go. How are we going to, we're going to have to use a DFA ID one or something for her. She's too young to have a photo ID. Intent to reside, yes. Okay. Well, they all live in the same place, so here we go. Make sure to use this. If it's a brand new case, you can use this down here and say yes, so it'll code all the other screens for you. All right. Slow down, double check your summary screens, look them over. Make sure you have all the information on those that's correct. Okay. Highest level of education. Well, remember, SLA1 don't list this, so don't try to make it up. Okay. So we're just going to do it like this. We don't know. We're going to do that for all of them. Because we don't know. We can't just make it up. And it's not needed to determine eligibility for CHIP, right? It's not needed to determine eligibility for AFDC-related either. I mean, there is a policy specifically to that once they get older, like close to 18 and stuff like that. But we're not going to worry about that for right now. Okay. Gotta get through these. Oops. Got a little ahead of myself there. All right. Nobody in the household is pregnant. Nobody's disabled. All those are going to be no's. All right. We're good to go there. All right. Now remember, initially Even though I mentioned in the scenario there are some assets, initially the SLA1 is not going to have that information. We'll talk about that when I get there, what you're going to have to do. Okay, so I'm going to say no to those for right now. Okay, but we do know about income. We know about the earned income, and we know about some child support. Okay, so we want to code those in. No backdating, so we don't have to worry about that. But it's Roger's income. Where does he work at? He's making good money. Let's say he's a welder somewhere. Maybe he works for the work. He works for. I don't know if they're still in business, but let's say B&O Railroad. Not. I don't know. But hey, they would pay well if they were. All right. And he's been working there, shoot, for 10 years. Let's say he's been working there since June 15th, 2010. He is not on strength. This is not variable. And he is paid bi-weekly. Now, I'm going to say he was paid on the 11th. And he actually turned in pay stubs with it, because why not? He was a nice guy. Okay. And it was for 80 hours. And his gross income was $2,000. Boom. And we're going to average that because we're looking at ongoing. So our total gross monthly income is going to be $4,300. All right. Okay. Now let's put in our child support. This is Zach's income. And it's direct payment child support. He gets it every month, and he actually started getting it. We'll say his mom and his dad separated 3 years ago in February. No, not 3 years ago, more than that, because they have another kid, right? So let's make it not 3 years ago, but 6 years ago. Okay, so if we go 6 years, we're going back to 2014. Okay. So we pay monthly, $200. All right. Say we looked it up in Oscar to verified it. Okay. So there's our, whoops, not refused. The one right below that, Oscar. See? Accidentally, it's really easy. I accidentally clicked the wrong thing. That's why you gotta watch it. Okay. Say no. Okay. Now, shouldn't get no. Well, I'm still getting them. Oh, well. We don't have that information, so just say no. Double check your income. All right. Yeah, no special payments. Okay, here we go. We're running eligibility. We got to add an absent parent. Oh, we get a demo of the absent parent screen. Remember, we're going to start down here at the bottom, put in our begin month. We're going to say who is the caretaker of the kid, which would be Kelly. And you're going to say yes to child support cooperation and yes to medical liability support cooperation. Once you answer those, scroll up to the top, click Get Oscar Information. If they're known to Oscar, it'll pre-fill all this information. If they're not, you're going to have to put it in. And so we'll put, no offense, Thomas, I went to high school with you, but your name's the only thing popping into my head. Okay. And we said he was absent 6 years ago. Maybe back in January he actually left the house. And they got divorced. Okay. All right. So there we go. Now, down here, you see the red asterisk there. It makes you think, oh, I got to add the kid. Well, no, you don't. The kid's already here. Right there's the kid. All I'm going to do is go click this little pencil. Change, because I know that paternity's been established because they're paying child support. So I'm going to change that to a yes. Click update, and boom, I'm done. I'm good to go. All right. So we got to get through the hub. And you know, I'm in a training world, so the hub's not communicating with anything. So of course it says unavailable. Now, if in the real world, make sure you slow down and look at that. See, does it verify anything? What's going on? Okay. So the first thing it's going to look at is Magi Medicaid. Notice I'm on interim. So I need to come down. I want to click Continue Cascade. All right. And there we flipped over to CHIP, and we're at our final. So I look at this CHIP, and I go, wait a minute. Okay, I'll look at this one. All right, who's eligible? Well, this one's Zach's. Well, what income is that counting? I go in here and I look at this and I say, oh, that's counting Roger's income. They'll end up having a copay with that. What would happen if I say, based on AFDC policy, Roger wouldn't count? So I can go, let's look at something different. Now, at this point, I would probably also mail out an SLA S1 to get the asset information for this case, because I would need that because there is an asset test for AFDC related. So I would get a hold of that information. When I get that back, I would enter that information. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pretend I got that back. I'm going to come in here. I'm going to leave a yes up here for Zach, but then I'm going to come down here to AFDC related versus Magi, and I'm going to say yes to that. And I want to change Zach to an A for the form type so that it'll actually find AFDC related. If I left it on S, it would just deny it. Okay? So then now let's, and instead of just hitting next, I want to navigate to what I need to put in here. I got my SLA back, SLA1 back, and on it, they're telling me yes, I want to save that they jointly own a home. So they get a homestead. So I want to say yes to that. Roger, the stepdad, has a checking account. I want to say yes to that. And he has a vehicle. So I want to say yes to that. So I'm going to hit next. And now I'm going to continue with the little driver flow. And when I get to the checking account, I'm going to put Roger's checking account in here. And it's Rogers. Make sure you get it under the correct person's name. And he sent a bank statement in to verify that he's a good guy. It is not jointly owned. It is accessible, and it is not for burial. And he said he had $1,800 in it. And on the bank statement, we have a little account number, and it says it's with MVB. Okay. Then we have our vehicle. And this is Rogers as well. It's not jointly owned. And we can also look it up in DMV if you have DMV. It is not jointly owned. It is accessible. It is a 2018. It is a 2018 Ford F-150. Okay. It is licensed in West Virginia. It is household transportation. Okay. So, how much does he owe? Let's say 2018, he still owes $15,000. We got a receipt book for that. and it's worth, trade-in would be, say, 16,000. And retail, probably about 20,000. Whoops, not $20. Okay. I'm just making those numbers up right now. Okay. Of course, in the real world, I would look those up, but you know. Now we got the homestead. And this is actually jointly owned, so it's going to be Rogers and Kelly's. But it is a homestead. They do live there. It is their residence. It is jointly owned, and it is accessible. Fair market value, we're going to say, is $120,000. And see, they put that on the form, and they currently owe $90,000. Okay. It is not producing income. It is not a non-homestead, and it is not listed for sale. All right. Now I put it is jointly owned with Kelly. Okay. She is not receiving SSI, but it is proportionally owned. There is an and between their names. I want to click add, drop it down to the dining list. Then I also want to click this little box here so that it'll automatically create a mirror image of this screen with Kelly at the top and Roger at the bottom. Oops, I forgot to put the sale agreement in there. There is no sale agreement. There we go. Okay. There we go. All right. So I got all the assets entered. Nothing else has changed. All the income's still good. So now I just got to continue my driver flow. Rerun eligibility. Okay, so once again, we're at interim, and you notice that this MAOR, this AFDC-Related, it's already passing, but we still need to continue cascade. So this is what can be confusing to some people, especially the client. They're going to have one kid on CHIP and one kid getting Medicaid because of the way income counts. Okay, so this will be Jill's. You see Jill, eligible child. You notice if we look at income, it's counting AG size of 4, counting Roger's income. Okay, but if I click over here on the MAOR, the AFDC-Related Medicaid, you notice Jill is considered, Roger is excluded, and his mom's and Zach's mom's counting, and of course he's the eligible child. So when I look at income, the only income it's counting is that $200 in child support with that $50 child support disregard. Okay, so our calculation was what it should be. So that's what we should be looking at. So now I can get Zach a full coverage Medicaid card, probably with a next to no copay, to help them out a little bit, and so that might, you know, it might be a little bit easier on them, maybe. So now I got everything I needed. I got my verifications. Everything's good. So I'm going to continue through, and I'm going to confirm it. Yeah, they accepted it. They want to register. They're like, yeah, I want to register. Okay. So there we go. So the difference is going to have MAOR review date's going to show up here. It's going to be due for review in February of 2021, so 6 months out. But if I agree with everything, I'm going to confirm it. Here we go, I'm confirming. And here's the review date for the CHIP. So the CHIP's going to have, of course, a longer review. It's going to be for a year, whereas the AFDC-Related is going to be for 6 months. But if not much changes, he'll still continue getting his Medicaid. Okay, Let all your notices go out. Do thorough, really excellent case comments, because I know you all can, and it's awesome to see them. Okay. I get this because I'm in the training world and we don't have designated caseload, so I have to transfer it to there and say yes. There we go. All right, so that is one to look at AFDC related instead of CHIP. That is an example that can actually happen in the real world. Hopefully you guys are catching it. Thank you for listening. It's been good to show you how to do this. If you have any other ideas, please let us know. We would be happy to do videos to demonstrate them. Thank you once again for listening. Goodbye.